Have you seen this painting before? Of course you have. It's in dorm rooms, on notebooks, cards and tea towels all over the world. Ugh, snore. We've seen it so much that I don't think we even see it anymore. It's certainly very decorative and pretty, but it has a secret story. I'm going to tell you all about it, and I guarantee you'll see it differently after this episode. Don't forget to tell me what you think of this painting in the comments below. But first... The Artist Skeleton! Gustav Klimt was born in Austria in 1862 and died in 1918 at the age of 56. He was a symbolist painter, famous for painting women. He was married to Emily Flöger, with whom he had 14 children in his short life, and he did nothing but paint from morning to evening. Except when he was making children, apparently. He was influenced by the arts and crafts movement, by Japanese prints, and Byzantine mosaics. He painted on a grand scale, often painting murals to complement great architecture. Some of his work was banned by conservative critics, and his murals in the University of Vienna, titled Philosophy, Medicine and Jurisprudence, were unceremoniously destroyed by the Nazis in World War II. Contemporaries included Vincent van Gogh, Vasily Kandinsky and Egon Schiele. Schiele was a good friend of his, and they were influenced by each other's work. In 1901, Klimt began using a lot of gold leaf in reaction to Byzantine mosaics he had seen on a trip to Italy. There were a lot of metallic elements to these mosaics, and the subjects had a flattened quality. He was already using this 2D technique in his work, having been influenced by Japanese prints previously. This period of his life was known as his golden phase. Can't think why. The kiss hangs in Vienna and is 6 feet square. It's a depiction of an embrace between a man and a woman. They are both dressed in sumptuous patterned robes, the lady with feminine floral curling motifs and the gentleman wearing more masculine angular patterns. We do not see his face, and some say it's a representation of the artist himself. We have no definitive proof of this, though. The couple stand in a meadow of purple flowers underneath a starry sky. The kiss is typical of Klimt's style. When looking at other paintings of his, you can see the repetition of particular models, elegant limbs, specific compositional traits, and the riot of decorative elements in his work. His models are often standing, bent to slightly unnatural positions, and addressing the viewer. Many artists were influenced by Greek myths at this time, most notably the pre-Raphaelites such as Waterhouse and Rossetti. Some scholars speculate that the kiss is a depiction of the tragic story of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus kisses Eurydice, and in doing so loses her love forever. Other artists such as Frederick Lord Leighton and Christian Kranzenstein have also painted this scene in their own styles. Is this one of the most romantic paintings in the world? On the surface it would seem so. Its incredible international popularity would imply that people everywhere are swept up in the romantic embrace of this couple. She hangs on his neck, emotionally overcome by his gorgeousness. The colours and patterns only enhance their euphoric state. They trip through a meadow without a care. The orchestra plays a crescendo in the background, and the birds sing and the flowers dance, and they all live happily ever after. Sorry, got carried away in the moment there. Don't know what came over me. Do you find this painting to be romantic? Tell me in the comments below how it makes you feel. Another perspective occurs to me though. It might be a little bit salacious. What are they doing underneath those robes anyway? There was often scandal surrounding Klimt and his work. He was, reportedly, a bit of a womanizer, boinking his models on a regular basis. He painted lots of female flesh, and his work itself was often condemned as pornography by conservative contemporaries who harumphed at the scandalous naked ladies, banned his work for being outrageously sexy and tempting, and criticised his use of gold leaf, which was usually reserved for religious art. He was using the highest of materials for the basest of subjects. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Did he use it as a social commentary, or did he just think it was pretty? We really don't know. Unfortunately, he didn't write much down about his thought process, and what is written about Klimt is often a speculation. So, go ahead and speculate, because I want to know what you think. Continuing along the path of speculation, of course, I have my own theories about this painting. Mainly, I find it really disconcerting. But it's beautiful, you say. It's so sumptuous and romantic. Nope, I don't think so. You see, I think she's dead. Okay, hold your horses. Hear me out. In many of Klimt's paintings, women's lips are parted and sensual. Here, her lips are closed. She isn't kissing him back. Her left hand is pulling on his, trying to remove it from her neck. She's trying to get away. To me, it looks like she's being strangled. He holds her at a cliff edge, and if she pulls away, she will fall. Her feet already dangle over the brink. The pose is awkward. He stands, and she is down on her knees. Her neck is pulled unnaturally backwards. He is faceless and could be anyone. His identity is unknown, and I find that quite creepy. He is dominant, and she is submissive. He towers over her, possessing her. If she holds on, she's doomed. If she lets go, she's doomed. I see this painting as a depiction of power. It is argued that she is surrendering to love, being overcome, but when I look at her, I feel that she's just lost. I know that this is an unpopular opinion. When researching for this episode, I found only one other article that agreed with me. The rest were waxing lyrical about the beauty and value of this picture and Klimt's genius. Now, I'm not denying his genius. I think his paintings are beautiful. I'm known for figurative painting myself, and I think his poses and style of drawing are really interesting. His elongated forms were pushing boundaries, along with those of Schiele and Modigliani, who were painting in the same era. I marvel at his patience with decorative elements. But I can't deny that this particular work has always creeped me out just a little bit. In a world of Me Too, it makes me shudder. But this is part of the point. Context can change over time. It was romantic at the turn of the century, in the age of fabulous Greek myths, stories of knights and damsels being swept off your feet and thrown over the butt end of a horse to go and live in the king's castle. I'm sure Victorian women were happy with being a possession when the idea of being an independent woman with a career and your own money was in its infancy. Should the context change? We can't help but see this work through 21st century eyes. But what about the artist's intentions? If Klimt painted a romantic image, shouldn't it stay that way? Who am I to get on my soapbox and write a YouTube episode about how creepy I think it is? Art doesn't remain static. It changes with the world, and that often is what makes great art. It morphs as time passes because the attitude of the world does. We bring our own histories into what we see. Roland Barthes called it the death of the author, saying that the creator has no sovereignty over his own words. Once the words or brushstrokes or musical notes are out there in the world, the viewer has the control. You can't tell people how to think. But you can tell me what you think, and I want you to tell me. I will reply to every comment, because I want to start a debate about this. Do you agree with me that it's a strangulation scene? Do you think I'm talking a load of rubbish? Do you love this painting simply for its decorative beauty? Have you seen the real thing? What was it like? Let's talk about it, either here or on my Instagram or Facebook pages. Click the link below this video and email me directly if you wish. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time.